Hey everyone, Greg from simplyguitar.com. If you've been playing guitar for a while, the chances are you've mastered some basic open chords. C major, G major, A minor, and F are some examples, and you're probably feeling pretty good about them, which is great. But wait a minute, that F major chord that you've been playing, that's actually a bar chord. If you've been playing F major as a bar chord with your index finger barring that first fret, you're already familiar with the concept of bar chords, even if you didn't realize it. Today, we're going to take that knowledge and expand it so that you can play any chord anywhere on the fretboard. To do this, we need to understand two key things, the chromatic scale and the notes on the fretboard. Once we've got that down, we'll take your favorite open chords and turn them into movable bar chords. So grab your guitar and let's dive in. First, let's talk about the chromatic scale. The chromatic scale is simply all the notes in order moving up one fret at a time. It's the foundation for understanding how the fretboard works. For example, if we start on the open E string, the notes go like this. Open E, F is on the first fret, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and then E. This pattern is the same for every string. If you know all the notes on one string, you know them on all the strings. As an example, if we look at the G string, it follows the same pattern. So we have the open G string, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, and then G. Now you may notice that two of those notes don't have sharps. It's E and B. I don't know if you've ever seen The Simpsons, but Homer Simpson was in a barbershop quartet called the B sharps. It was spelt B-E sharps. It's a really good way of remembering that those two notes don't have sharps. For this lesson, we're going to focus primarily on the low E string as it's the foundation for the E-shaped bar chords we'll be learning. The natural notes on the E string, so I'm not talking about any sharps or flats. We have open E, F, G, A on the 5th fret, B on the 7th fret, C on the 8th fret. Remember I said there's no B sharp, so it just goes straight from B to C. And then we have the 10th fret on D, and then the 12th fret is E, that's the octave. Memorizing these notes is essential because they serve as the root notes for probably a lot of the open chords that you've been playing already. For example, if you know that the 5th fret on the E string is A, you can play an A major chord using the E bar chord shape at that position. Now let's connect this to our bar chords. If you know your open E major chord, you're about halfway there. The E-shaped bar chord is just the open E major chord moved up the fretboard with your index finger acting as the bar or the new nut on the guitar. For example, if you play an E-shaped bar chord on the 3rd fret, you're playing a G major chord. Why? Because the root note, the low note on the E string, is a G. Let's count the frets. So we have open E, 1st fret is on F, F sharp, and then we have a G. So the 3rd fret on the E string is G, and that's your root note for the chord. This is how you can move this shape around the fretboard to play any major chord. Let's try another one. If you would like to move the E-shaped bar chord to the 5th fret, what chord are you playing? Well, let's count. So we have the 5th fret on the guitar, and we're going to start here. So it goes open E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then A. So that's an A major chord. Do you see how this works? Once you know the notes, you can play any major chord using this shape. Now let's apply this to our progression. C major, G, A minor, and F. Instead of playing these as open chords, we're going to use E-shaped bar chords. For C major, find the C note on the E string. It's on the 8th fret. So if I just find that 8th fret note, bar the 8th fret and play the E-shaped bar chord. That gives you a C chord. For G major, we already did this, it's on the 3rd fret. For A minor, the note A is on the 5th fret. bar the 5th fret and play the E minor shape. Now that's the same as E major, but without the major third. Now we can always think of this as, if I just show you just like this is our major shape, and then take off your middle finger, that's the major third, gives us our minor. If that confuses you a little bit, just think about your open E chord shape, and then you take off your finger. So all we're doing is we're replicating major to minor in our bar chord shape. Now wait a minute, that F major chord on the 1st fret is the same F major chord you've been playing all along. The only difference now is that you're thinking of it as part of a bigger system. Instead of just memorizing the F major chord as a standalone shape, you're seeing it as part of a movable pattern. This is the power of bar chords. They allow you to take one shape and use it to play any chord anywhere on the fretboard. Let's play through the progression slowly. We had C major on the 8th fret, G major on the 3rd fret, A minor on that 5th fret, and F major on the 1st fret. So take your time and don't worry if it doesn't sound perfect right away. Bar chords take strength and practice, but they're worth it because they open up the fretboard to you. A great exercise to help you master the fretboard is to pick a note, say G, and find it on the E string. For example, G is on the 3rd fret of the E string. This will help you visualize the fretboard and help make bar chords easier to play. Another tip is to practice playing the chromatic scale on the E string. Practice saying the notes out loud as you go. It might sound silly, but it will reinforce your knowledge of the fretboard and make it easier to find chords on the fly. Now you might be wondering about the A string. While we're focusing on the E-shaped bar chords in this lesson, the A string is also incredibly important for our other bar chord shapes, just like the A-shaped bar chord, which I covered in a lesson where we learned Eric Clapton's Cocaine. For now, just know that the A string follows the same chromatic pattern as the E string. Open A sharp is on the 1st fret, we have B, C, and so on. Learning the notes on both the E and the A strings will give you a solid foundation for mastering the fretboard and learning those bar chords in those two forms. And also, here's a pro tip. If you're struggling with bar chords itself, just try focusing on the root note and the top 2 or 3 strings at first. You don't have to play all 6 strings perfectly right away. Build up your strength and accuracy over time. By learning the chromatic scale and the notes on the fretboard, you can start using bar chords to play any chord anywhere on the guitar. It's a real game changer. If you found this helpful, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel for more lessons, and let me know in the comments how your bar chord journey is going. Remember, every great guitarist started right where you are now. Keep practicing, and I'll see you in the next lesson. Thanks for watching, and keep playing.